Sorry about that, I goofed. Um, they only appear at the end of a bad kid run. Let me just move that off of the thing. Okay. Um, they only appear at the end of a bad kid run, and they talk about the way that they go on. If you don't look at every piece of dialogue and you don't read between the lines, you will directly get the face value of this is what this child wanted, therefore this is the encompassing image of the bad kid run where they kill everyone. And then technically they don't even kill everyone because there's supposed to be an ant-sized frogget, and Napstablock is a ghost and can't be killed. But I just see a lot of people, and I'm gonna say it, it's mostly white people that go on this tirade of like, oh my god, you chose to kill everyone. The player is always in control of everything. And it is just a game. It can be that morbid curiosity. I don't get the guilt trip because I've been playing video games for a long time, and there are actually games that I enjoy a lot more than Undertale, and I can say that because I played the demo and I played a lot of other fucking games. And I see its emotional value. I do love the plot. I do love the characters. I'm on the story because I can deal with my own interpretation. I can deal with the interpretation of others, but with its level of popularity, when it's constantly misinterpreted and given such a stale face value stereotypical idea, that's what pisses me off about it. If Undertale were the cult classic that it was intended to be and the fan base wasn't so big and annoying and just basically the shitstorm that it is now, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. But I say that, like I said, I do like some aspects of the game, but I'm not paying $10 on Steam for a game that I don't fully enjoy. I'm more of a cave story type person. I also don't much care for Earthbound, and I know that's immediately going to get me shunned. But if I don't like the shit, I don't like it. I'm more of a I like that, you can choose whether or not to kill, and it has it gives you feedback, and it has, I won't even say it has rewards. I can say that it only has consequences. But then again, the word consequence itself is given a negative social connotation, but for what it actually means, it really just means results. Okay, I'm just gonna go into what's wrong with everything right now. First of all, the game is hugely based on interpretation, and that is a lot of what goes on with how the first child is interpreted and how Frisk is interpreted, or the last child, since I want to go there. Everyone is a hero and everyone is a villain, including you, all the other characters, and all that stuff. I don't feel bad about a genocide run because every monster in the underground is directly, indirectly, or passively responsible for the death of 6 other humans prior to Frisk's arrival. And when you're doing a pacifist run, Undyne says all humans are bad and she tries to kill you. Sans drops you a death threat and says that if it weren't for that lady, he would have killed you. And then Chloe and Asriel try to kill you. Like, what the fuck? When you don't kill anyone, that's when 90% of people want your head on a platter or don't give a fuck. The only real good person here is Papyrus. And I say that making him the lesser of all the evils because it's the way he addresses the issue is in such a naive way. He's like, I'm just going to capture you and hand you over to them, which would result in your death. So he would be either directly or indirectly responsible for your death as well. And, he doesn't kill you, so I guess that would mean that he is indirectly responsible because he handed you over to the people that killed you. I don't know, that's up to interpretation too. And when you do a neutral run and you don't kill Papyrus, Sans really doesn't have much to say about that. At the end, he gives you a call that updates you on what the situation is. But if you don't kill Papyrus, he doesn't seem to have much ill will towards you. Except if you kill Toriel. And something about Undyne raging against you. If you no, I think if you kill Toriel and no, if you kill Toriel, then and Undyne becomes Empress. That's something. But if you kill Toriel and Papyrus, if you kill Toriel, yeah, but what I said, Toriel and Papyrus, then he's like, oh, some shit or something. And if you abandon a bad kid run, he doesn't even say anything to you. And Alphys talks to you. And only if you kill Papyrus will he be, like, direct about it, like, then why did you kill my brother? And then at the end of the phone call say, you're not welcome here. But that's if you kill Papyrus and don't kill all the other boss monsters. If you kill all the other boss monsters, I don't think he said, I don't really remember that ending. There's a lot of multiple endings based on who you kill. But it's like, you really have to be a total bad kid and kill everyone for him to kill everyone up to Asgore for him to take action. But then when you kill no one, that's when he's like, I should have killed you but I promised this lady. And I'm like, bruh, you just killed an innocent child that did nothing. And then there's Undyne. Do I really need to go into that? And then there's Asgore. Do I really need to go into that? And Toriel isn't exempt because she basically tries to kidnap you and force you to stay with her. And she left Asgore in a very poor mental situation. I do know that in one ending, if you play the first one in Pacifist, but you kill Chloe at the end, and then you replay, Asgore kills himself. So Asgore is totally mentally unstable, and Toriel left him like that. So Goat Mom isn't so virtuous as people like to have her represented. And it's just. And then another thing that I don't like is how everyone focuses on Sans' depression, despite the fact that everyone in Undertale is depressed. Like, the people are depressed because they're trapped underground. Asgore's depressed because his children died and his wife left him, and he's just all he knows to do is to be able to kill children, which he hates doing. And in one ending, he kills himself. And Toriel's depressed because she left her husband because he insisted on killing kids, and her children died, and she's basically isolated in the ruins, which I would say is self-inflicted isolation because of the prior things that have happened. And Undyne is basically the definition of nihilism. Well, Undyne and Papyrus, really. Alphys has major self-esteem issues. Papyrus has body image issues. I mean, literally everyone is depressed in one way or another. And Sans gets, like, a lot of spotlight. And another thing that happened quickly is how overrated Sans and Papyrus have become. Because, I mean, I like them too, don't get me wrong, but holy shit, they're not the only characters in the game, and yet there's just so much shit around Sans and Papyrus. And I'm not saying this like I'm gonna just become the virtuous one and stop loving them tomorrow, but I'm saying, like, oh my god, like, I also love Asgore, and I'm slowly warming up to the First Child now that I'm becoming de-brainwashed from other fans' image of the murderous child, now that I've started reading between the lines and looking at other people's analyses. But the presentation of First Child really didn't help its case. And this is basically white people sympathy the game. Like, how people took Avatar so seriously because that taught them like, I saw some person call that movie White Guilt the movie, and I enjoyed that movie very much. Didn't enjoy it enough to make fan content like I do for Undertale, but I really did enjoy Avatar. And really, it was me. For me, it was like Capitalism Guilt Trip the movie more than White Guilt the movie. But everyone has, interpretation, right? But for me, it's like this white man named Toby Fox teamed up with this Asian chick and some other people and made this game, and now everyone's like, oh my god, this is like the heartbreakingest game of all time. And of course the Earthbound fans flock there first. And I'm just sitting here like, you white people are fucking crazy, because I mean, is the only way to teach you sympathy is to like go through a game and then save everyone, and then like build these inner relationships with these fictional characters, and then go through this same game and kill everyone, and then the world ends for some reason. And that, you know what? That is what has actually started me down the slope of being pissed off about Undertale, is that why should the world end because you killed some creatures in an inconsequential area that has nothing to do with the overall existence of the rest of the world? Why did that happen? Why did that even have to happen? Like, I can't say never before has this happened, but it's like, the first thing that came to my mind was Doom. Like, when you go through and kill all the monsters, does hell cease to exist? And we know in real life that when people commit mass genocide, the world doesn't cease to exist. So it's like, why is this game where something totally unrealistic happens? Like, you kill all the things and then the world fucking ends. Like, why? Why is that the sympathy getter? And then the huge scapegoating of the first child just roll fucking snowball avalanche down. And then it's like, because this has been placed as the pedestal of the villain, and that means that Frisk is the virtuous child, when really it's all the player because you make all the decisions and shit. When really, you can go through Mario without killing any enemies. And I'm talking about the old Mario games. You seriously have the option to jump over all the enemies. It has no reward or consequence as far as I know, but you can play a pacifist Mario, at least in the old games. I don't know about the new ones. I don't know if you can play a pacifist Kirby. No, it's probably impossible because of the mechanics of inhaling to get their powers. But there are other games, I know that there are other games that you can play a pacifist in, and whether or not it has reward or consequence, if you were really like, this fucking virtuous person or this fucking insane killer, it would take more than a video game to draw that shit out of you. You're not a terrible person because you killed a whole bunch of monsters, and there's no fucking reason why the whole world should end because you did. Anyway... And that is really, like, the reason why I just don't want to pay $10 for this game. Like, well, aside from the previously addressed concern of the, my lack of interest for its battle system, really, I only like the plot and the characters. And, no one's perfect. Neither is the first child, neither is Frisk, as said by Sans. And speaking of which, we know he's not fucking perfect because he likes dropping death threats to innocent children. I mean, I can't say that you can go through life and kill a person and still be totally virtuous. Well, you're never totally virtuous anyway once, you're past 10, given the way the modern world is. Ugh, need better lighting. But I will say that you are above your consequences. Like, the post-Bad Kid run, at the end where there's First Child standing there in Frisk's place with all the faces scratched out, and the scene, if you decide to stay with Toriel, where First Child appears as Frisk and then does the evil laugh or whatever. people took that as such face value of that means that the first child is going to kill everyone. That's not what that means. That is a reminder that you killed everyone. That these people that you once loved, that you then killed and then brought back basically for your own amusement. Well, it's a game. You did all of it for your own amusement, first of all. Second of all, this is just a reminder that you did this. Really, look at it for what it is, since we're talking about face value. The only person that the first child ever killed was themselves because they wanted to free the monsters. They may not have liked humanity for whatever reason, most likely abuse. That's where a lot of fingers point. And it's a child, so it's like, hey, abuse or something. But the only person that they ever killed was themselves. And I don't think they got morbid pleasure out of hurting Asgore. From what I could tell, and I'm following this from another analysis, I also believe that they love the Dreamers. Because if they really wanted to kill everyone, they could have just done that in the first place. Which is why I go... And that was like, before I looked at other people's analyses, if that's a word, that was really like the first thing that I went off of. Like, for all the bad rap that this little kid is getting, if they wanted to kill everyone, they could have done that. Like, there's no way around that fact. Like, we already know that monsters are way more fragile than humans in, like, physical form. If they wanted to kill everyone, why wouldn't they? And then they just get out themselves, and then that be it. Well, back then they weren't the other souls, so I don't know how they would have gotten out, but if they still wanted to kill everyone, they still could have. But, there's just a lot to go around, and I'm glad that people have stated their business. But I'm honestly hoping that the hype dies down really soon, and that we can all just go back to normal instead of all these little white kids running around like they've actually had some kind of epiphany from a video game when they're going to forget about this shit next year. I want to be a part of the solution, not the problem. If you want to learn sympathy, look at, like, time and history of what real people have done to each other. Like Hitler and the, Stonewall and shit like that. AIDS even. We just recently found out that AIDS was man-made. People gave other people AIDS, like, from the start. And it was in Africa with poor farmers. It wasn't somebody had sex with an infested monkey. It was a science experiment that turned into a fucking global epidemic. Ugh, alright. I think I'm done. And I'm sorry about the cut between videos. That was an accident. I apparently pressed a button on the thing while it was over the thing and it did the thing. But this video is long. But I just want white people to stop acting like they have fucking virtue because they played Undertale. And, I want everyone... Well, I would really hope for a world where it takes more than... Well, no. If it takes a video game to teach you sympathy, then who am I to discredit the lesson that you've learned that makes you a better person? But, seriously, white people, just calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? But, in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and don't be a bad kid, and I'll see you later. Bye.